In this episode, I talk with Cara Elizabeth about stepping into your power and how feeling and being safe begins here. We talk about animal medicine and symbolic guidance and the messages and transformation they can bring. How co-creation with the universe can change your life. And we talk about holding the vision and frequency as a spiritual and energetic practice. Welcome to Man Quest Define Meaning, where we help men navigate modern life, find their true purpose, and redefine manhood. I'm your host, James, and each week, inspiring guests share their journeys of overcoming fear, embracing vulnerability, and finding success. From experts to everyday heroes, get practical advice and powerful insights. Struggling with career, relationships, or personal growth? We've got you covered. Join us on Man Quest to Find Meaning. Now, let's dive in. Hello, Cara. How are you?
Hello. I'm amazing, expanding, and all that journey of the terror and the joy and the fear and the doubt and then the believing in yourself. But I'm at the expansion feeling good moment, so that's awesome because it's always a roller coaster.
Every time I go onto an episode of a podcast, there's always that anxiousness beforehand.
Focus on the bigger picture.
In that case, let's start with being in our power, because something that you said recently was that safety is basically you being in your power. Now, safety has been something that I've really been working on myself, because I had a 5-day festival romance. And the one thing that came from that was that she didn't feel seen. And if you didn't feel seen, she didn't feel safe. Was that her projection? Was that my own projection? I don't know. But since then, I've been on this path of creating this presence, this safety and connection to myself first. And so that I'm the same with everybody else. So let's start with power, being in your power.
Yeah. I would also say maybe with that relationship you had, sometimes we meet people who bring out something within ourselves. So maybe there is an aspect where she's not seeing herself and you allowed her to connect to that, but then projected it on you. But whatever, everyone is an equal partner in what we're experiencing. But I think as far as safety and power, I think this world is terrifying at moments. This world is unsettling. We are dealing with a insanity epidemic that has probably gone on for centuries and centuries and centuries. And there is a lot of things in this reality that are very scary. But when we can feel safe within ourselves, despite the outside situation, when we can come into this, and I think safety is also like completely thrown around, that word. But I think a part of being empowered is getting into a safety within ourselves, which then really means trust. It's trusting. Despite if your nervous system is hijacked. And see, this is the thing when I'm talking about safety. I'm not like, okay, let's breathe slow. Let's calm the body. Let's make sure. To me, we didn't come in this life necessarily to feel that level of safety. We came to challenge that because how could we understand courage and risks if we didn't know what fear was? And someone actually just said that in one of my YouTube videos. Like, I was like, oh my God, right. Like, fear is what blesses us to bring out the gem of courage. But there is something about teaching yourself safety through taking risks and doing the things that scare you, which is what teaches you that it is safe to use your voice. There are obviously places in the world where it's not safe, but I think generally in the Western world, we have this privilege of exploring who we are without too much censorship or terrifying things happening to us. I know that does not apply for everywhere else in the world, but this kind of experience of going forward in fear is actually the thing that you're teaching yourself, that it is safe to take these risks and do these things. And that is empowering. And that teaches your body safety. And that teaches you your power. I know I just went all over the place, but our empowerment feels safe, because once we start really like seeing the fruits of our labor and seeing the fruits of taking these risks and seeing that it is okay to do these things that are terrifying, that is what empowers you. That you went the thing scared. It doesn't come from, oh, I just know that like it's easy. That's not necessarily brings out that feeling of empowerment. So it's almost like you need unsafety to connect. You need to understand powerlessness in order to align with power too.
When you talk about if you resist, it persists. So there's a sense, I suppose, if you resist powerlessness, then you're going to always get powerlessness until you actually walk into it. And it's with working myself with the power of the dragon the last 3 or 4 months, what I've come to realize is that there's a distinct feeling of connecting to it. So it's very easy, I think, sometimes to get caught in all the news, get caught up in social media, and to get caught up in your head.
Yeah.
But if you almost pull yourself back into your body, there's a distinct, subtle sense of that connection. And I think that's the key, is being able to connect that subtle sense on a frequent basis so that you can almost witness it as much as you can.
It's interesting because I went through a quantum jump in the summer, and I feel like I'm in a weird quantum jump right now. And I'm noticing what happened last time and what's happening again is that I almost have to have these moments where I shut everything out. Like I become, like you said, we're so influenced by all these things, where I almost go into like imaginary land, and like I embrace that and I go into my own little cubby hole and allow that power, so it's not affected by the chaos and the noise of everything else. It just reminded me of what you were saying, like just shutting everything else off. And there's something, it's like going in that room, going in that imagination land. And when I say imagination is what's creating our reality, it's like you go inside and it like brings, it almost helps you like believe it more and more. And then there's like an interesting shift that can happen when we allow ourselves to just say no to everything for a while. I know we can't be totally ignorant, but sometimes you need to shut it out. Like it's just it's just, because here's the thing. We're dealing with a mad world, right? It's mentally unstable. And that our interaction with it and witnessing it throws our nervous system off. It throws us into fear. So creating your own universe of stability, of safety, of empowerment with the dragon power is super, actually almost even like a protection too. And it helps you grow without any of that influence on the outside.
Really. Out of interest, what with regards to yourself going into that kind of cocoon, what do you personally do?
I love creating visualizations that are super empowering, because this is the thing I know now, because I've done this, and sometimes it takes months and months and months and months for a thing to manifest. But if I go hard on a visualization of what am I creating, and like right now, my visualization for life is, let me just back this up so then anyone watching this can also do this. So our dreams, our subconscious speaks in metaphor, and actually the creator speaks to us in metaphor. That's why when certain animals come in, the dragon is so empowering to you. And if we study the behavior and mythology of dragon, it's actually teaching you that wisdom. It's teaching you that. And so nature, God is a poet. Like the creator, the great mystery is speaking to us in poetry and math and science. But I can detect the poetry. Our subconscious speaks in poetry too. So when we dream, it's all symbols. representing something else. Its language is symbology. So if we start visualizing in symbology instead of, okay, I want to manifest this amount of money, so I'm going to visualize seeing in my bank account $100,000 because that's so fun to visualize. Get out of my face. So the one visualization I'm doing, and we will be doing in the I Am Empowered membership, is like I have created my relationship too with money. I think everyone's relationship with money is weird. So now I'm like, okay, it's a puppy that has its fur is made of $100 bills or whatever, and it's loving and it's kind and it loves me and I love it. And I'm creating this new relationship with the idea of money. Before, when I was trying to leave my full-time job to work for myself for almost 7 months and off, I would do this visualization. I was like, what is the metaphor of me working for myself? Like, I couldn't picture a matter-of-fact idea of what the thing should look like. So I was like, me leaving my job means my energy is too big for the space I work in. So I constantly visualize myself exploding out of, and then I would have dragons shooting out of me too. But like, I would see myself like becoming a giant bigger than the building that I worked in. And then 7 months later, I'm working for myself. So I think one of my there's so many metaphors we can use that are fun. Listening to awesome music, keep coming back, holding that vision. But it's like to me, that's a language with creating the materialization of these things. And how it comes, well, actually, it doesn't need to be a set way in my head because I said, this is what's going to be in my bank account at this time. I'm actually completely changing my relationship with finances and everything I've learned. And it's a special relationship between me and this cute little money puppy that will show up however it shows up, but it's going to be loving and it's going to be supportive. And I'm not going to have my hangups around. So many of us have hangups with even money. I'm even realizing that they're in my faith. I'm a Baha'i, and really understanding that this world is an illusion and not focusing on materialism. Also, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't care about money. And that's not the message, right? But I need to like work through that and have a cool, fun energy exchange with this thing that's super supportive in my life. So I think going and practicing and setting aside 10 minutes every day and just going into these visualizations as you walk down the street, have your dragon with you. You know what I mean? If you're going on a date and you're a little scared, freaking have dragon like on your shoulder. Just bring all these things, they're alive within us. And we're allowing them to come with us on the journey. I've done things where I've walked around and I just see a diamond spinning in my heart. I have my eagle wings, and people come and respond to me differently because I'm holding that as I'm going out in the world. I'm seeing myself with that. So I think really and we're all artists. We're all freaking artists. We're all creating our own reality. Have fun with it. Like, this is us being a kid. The magic is the science, right? And just bring your guides and your symbols, and they all are here to help you, and you're creating them. And they want to be self-realized through you too. That's why they show up. So I go heavy on that with creating this like world, this universe that I live in that feels so fun and empowering.
One thing I've always visualized from a kid is being a knight and a horse. So I can always imagine myself to the T of basically charging down the battlefield kind of thing. But recently, with bringing Dragon in, I've seen it's changed slightly. I'm more against evil, but I turn to flames, my eyes flame up, and I just bring in dragons, and I'm always like drawing a fire sword out my hand kind of thing.
Yeah, no, see, that is it. But it's almost just keep that visualization alive and keeping it transforming because you're changing. So now it's like different for you. So it's just keeping that, holding that, because it has a vibration, it has a frequency, and it's a medicine for you.
How do you, 'cause obviously yourself and Taylor talks about the same of holding the vision, holding the frequency. How do you maintain to hold that throughout the day?
Okay, so I can only speak for myself, but I come from a background of sexual abuse when I was younger. And then as an adult, almost 2 decades of post-traumatic stress disorder. So understanding a reality where you're easily triggered, where your body has been, I dealt with pretty sick things from a very young age. So there's my chemistry, my nervous system, everything has a sensitivity around feeling safe in this life. So it's really can be a lot, can really be a lot. And although I no longer identify with having PTSD and it's not a daily thing, I still get triggered in really real ways. And especially for those of us on our journey to become our greatest self, on our journey to share our gifts with humanity, on our journey to use our voice, I think there's a big collective of us who have a lot of suffering in our backgrounds, and our body on that journey of facing your fears. It's hard. I think becoming our greatest self, I'll get back to your question, but like becoming our greatest self is the hardest thing you will ever do, because what essentially people I like us and people on their growth path are have to face every disbelief in themselves and have to go through those triggers. For me, staying in the frequency, it's a some days are easier than others. Some days I wake up in the darkness and I have to weave myself out of it. And some days it just stays. But I think I'm constantly, I have things that I do in the morning to set up the day, my journaling, my visualization, my body work. And then at different times, I have to react to myself differently. Sometimes when I'm triggered and there's a lower vibration and I'm in fear, there's a compassion I need to have for myself. Other times, I need to say F you to the stories that are happening. There's more of a power, a rage, like this lie doesn't get to tell me. Other times I have a cheerleader in my head screaming, just trust. I'm serious. She is so loud. Like she has to scream over all the scary things happening in my head. So I have different characters who come and help me within myself while I'm not fully balanced, but I still go forward, even if I'm not in this seemingly aligned, open frequency. But maybe that's the point. Like maybe we're not supposed to be, we're not. This is a human existence. And like it is, my empowerment expands more when I go through constriction. I come out even more powerful than I was before that. So I have to go through the doubt. I have to go through the darkness. I have to go through forgetting myself, because I remember my power in a new way every time I come out of it. I don't know if that answers your question, but it's just like a daily kind of coming back and working differently with myself, because one technique will work for you for a week and then you've outgrown it or it just doesn't hit the way it used to hit. So I think we have to keep evolving and discovering new ways that keep us in our power. The whole point for me, my feeling is being empowered. That's all it is. I feel like I'm either feeling disempowered or I feel empowered. So being empowered is for me the best feeling in the world and aligning with that. But it's something that I have to practice and try, and sometimes it's just there and I don't have to try. So it just depends on the day.
Makes sense. It's human conditioning. We're human beings. We have to have duality from both sides. And as you've said from other times, that you have to go through I hate using the word negativity, the bad to get to the good. I hate using them words, but sometimes you can't find anything else. Can you tell us your story, please?
Sure. My story is, let me see if I can wrap this up. I feel like it always takes me super long and I want to just say it more complete. I come from childhood with sexual abuse, raped as a teenager, a lot of things of understanding complete disempowerment, also growing up as a female in a society where there was an obsession with your body, with your appearance, and just a lot of just completely understanding powerlessness, especially with sexual abuse, and like this huge, just understanding what it means to have something have power over you. Although I know in truth, no one can take your power or have power over you, but it is we go through these representations where I understand what it feels like to have someone have power over me. With the molestation as a kid, I had dissociative amnesia throughout. I didn't even remember it. It didn't even start coming out till I was my freshman year in college. And it came through all these ravens, a really intense dream. And all these ravens were telling me that I needed to know the truth. There was this thing that I needed to like remember. And after that dream, it was extremely disturbing. And I remembered my mother had taught me about animal medicine, which she had learned from a few of her friends with indigenous American heritage. And my mom, when I was in high school, got really into it. And it's the philosophy, animal medicine, when there's certain animals that appear in your life, that if you study their behavior and their mythology, that they're teaching you something. So my mom had this book called Animal Speaks by Ted Andrews. And it was all about this guy that went and spoke to a lot of indigenous peoples and got a lot of information about understanding what these animals represented. And I looked up Raven, and I don't want to give Raven a bad rap, because Raven is also about manifesting and magic and the unknown, but also has been known to be a messenger of dark truth. There's all this mythology around Raven sharing information that didn't want to be heard. There was this one old tale of this king lost his beloved, and he sent a page to go search the lands for his lover, and she could be found nowhere. So finally, when the page came back to tell the king, he was so distraught by hearing the message that his lover was just gone and he could never reunite with her, that he had his wizard friend turn the page into a raven for telling him such bad news. When I learned that Raven was this messenger of something you don't want to hear, and then discovering through that dream that I was molested as a kid, I was obsessed. I became a vegetarian at 9 years old at my own decision. My parents weren't vegetarians, anything. I've always had this thing with animals. But I think most people have this love animals. I think most people do. But so I just felt like they're the purest thing in the world. And I became just so interested in understanding them. So they've always been a part of my journey. Raven's the one who told me about my past. And then as I discovered more and had more memories surface about my childhood and more disturbing, I was going and seeing every type of healer, shaman, guru, naturopath, Western therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, all of it, being put on tons of pills. And I just kept, for 18 years, I just kept actually getting worse. And then it just got to this point where I was like my art felt like I wasn't going anywhere with the work I was doing. I felt like I wasn't aligned that I wasn't living my purpose. I felt like I had a purpose and that my destiny in this life was actually that I would have this huge purpose that I could never self-actualize, while having to remember the emotional, physical trauma of my sexual abuse every day. So it was like, why am I even here? Let's just end it. And then I got to this, I thought the one thing I haven't done was do it alone. This whole time I'm seeing all these different healers, and sure, I learned a lot, but I never tried it on my own. So I had this moment with the creator, and I just started working with the creator, and I figured out how to get off of 12 years of medication by myself. I figured out how to like just stop being a chain smoker instantly by myself. Like I started this communion and this prayer every day. I would just go on my roof and pray to life, the creator, great mystery. And I just said, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And I would beg and I would cry and I would just ask and plead and bow in reverence. And I just said, whatever you want me to do. And then slowly, without even knowing it, I started creating Animal Apothecary, the card deck, which totally changed my life, which healed me. So it wasn't me. It was like me and God, the creator, right? Like we healed myself. And the creator, of course, knew animals were so special to me. So, of course, it was the animals who told me, and it was the animals who healed me.
That's very powerful, I think, because we always, I think, as human beings, we look on the outside for answers. But all the answers I'm starting to learn is from the inside. We already know what we need to do. It's just doing it.
Yeah. And that's like when I do readings and sessions with people, I love when people start a session, when they do a reading with me and they're like, I want to know about this or this. And I'm like, you're going to figure it out. Like, I'm not actually I don't tell you anything. I get you to connect with yourself in a deeper way. I get you to channel and you discover the answers, because who the hell am I? You're your own medicine. I'm not really interested in anyone outside of me trying to tell me who I am. Maybe some people like that, but I'm like, no, I define myself. So I think everyone has that power in them. And the fact that we're also creating our own reality. So what is the most uplifting thing inside of you that you need to hear is going to come from you. And I want to honor, it is so amazing to have support. It is so amazing to have a cheerleader. It's so amazing, but we have to do it for ourselves too. Like 100%.
In this exact moment, I've decided, do you know something? Rather than using the questions, rather than having any notes, I'm just going to trust to know what comes up. And I think that's it. We lack trust in ourselves. I think we look for everything outside externally to give us the answers. We don't trust ourselves to know. And I think that's where the powerlessness comes from.
Yes, it's trust. It's trust on so many different levels. Like, I also feel most empowered when I am trusting everything to work out. I feel most safe when I am trusting everything to work out. So trust is the superpower. Trust is also the magnetic force that allows these manifestations to come to us. It's like in so many different spiritual teachings, there's this wisdom about act as if your prayer has been answered. And I forget, there was this one, I don't know if it was an elder from the Hopi tribe. I'm not sure, but it was an elder from an indigenous tribe that says, we don't pray for rain, we become the rain. So it's like, you have to, our trust, I think the creator is, I'm here to give you whatever you want, but you're an active participant in this. And not to say there's infinite, multifaceted, different ways that prayer works, but I think there's something really empowering knowing that if we trust, if we act as if the prayer has been answered, that it also gets it answered. It is the thing, but it goes back to that frequency, right? Holding the vision, like staying in that trust can be difficult sometimes, a lot.
You know, obviously a lot of what you do is very interactive. I did the 3-day one recently, and the last day you're doing all them movements and my arms were like jelly. My legs were like, I think next day I was like, oh my God, what's going on? But it's this idea that it's like dance. You dance, your body just moves how you want to move.
Yeah.
And it's just trust. It's trusting that the medicine that we need is going to show itself at the right time in the moment. That's it. That's it. It's coming back to the present moment.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Because so many of us are in the future and the past at the same freaking time without like just being. And a lot of times for most of us, I know there's a lot of horrifying things happening in the world, but for many of us, and if anyone is listening to this right now, everything is probably okay. You know what I mean? Like maybe you have to figure out something to pay rent in a couple weeks and that's stressing you up. But like right now, if you're able to even listen to this conversation, your car probably isn't on fire. Like probably right now, everything is okay for a lot of people. And that is beautiful too.
It was like, it's very easy to get caught up, especially if you're struggling with money or things aren't going quite to plan in a relationship. But if you come back to this present moment, you're safe. Most of us have got a roof over our head who are listening to this. You've probably got food, shelter, warmth. And so it's almost coming back to them. And I think we take for granted how easy it is to get things. And we want that comfort of having £1 million in our bank or to have a sports car or whatever it is. And I think it's more coming back to almost to our natural ways.
Yeah. And that also we're just surrounded by abundance at every moment too. Like where, you know, what you were saying, okay, it'd be nice if we had this much money in the bank and then that kind of car and whatever, but let's focus on how much abundance is happening right now for everyone. Even if you only have shelter and food, you have shelter and food, you know what I mean? And like, we can look and these trees are outside. This is everything around us is an extension of us. And we're just surrounded by abundance. And we have this very corrupted, probably materialistic, westernized view of this possession, right? Like, I need to possess more things, which is the ultimate illusion because material objects are the illusion. So it's, we look at around you, like it's just an extension of you. You're completely in this abundance of reality and just allowing yourself to be in that present moment of it and coming back to that, like that also makes us in oneness with everything is realizing, wait, this is an extension of me.
Yeah. So can you explain that a little bit more? Because I can imagine people, not everybody, but some people listen to this, it's going to hear extension of me and think, okay, what are they going on about?
Yeah, extension of you. So if we are co-creators in our life and we are a part of creating everything in our life, and that this projection around us is a part of what we've created for ourselves, it is an extension of ourselves. Our best friend, our lover, our parents are all these, they're like the tentacles, right? They're all these different parts of us. So the home you live in right now is you. It's like a projection of you on the outside, the friends that you have, the job that you have. And if you don't like it, there's information there about something within yourself. Does your house feel like a home or does it feel like the worst place to live? Well, that is a reflection. That is a metaphor. So we're learning all these things. And then you can take it all the way to like quantum physics and how we're understanding that everything is one. Everything is just aspects of a bigger one thing. Like we're all one human family and maybe you're a red blood cell and I'm a bone and we're all meant to serve our gifts. Otherwise, the whole system is going to be corrupted and get cancer and not work. So I'm going off into another kind of tangent, but it just is, everyone is an extension of us, everything, but especially in your own universe, in your daily world, everything you're dealing with is an extension of you teaching yourself something, showing back to you, okay, this is your belief you might have around this. If you have a boss who does not honor you, okay, where am I not honoring myself in my own authority? What is my boss teaching me that I have a problem with is actually a teacher for me. So they're all parts of you sharing information with yourself, if that makes sense.
It's a projection. So personal extension of you. So you're very passionate, you're very empowered. That's how I see you anyway. But it's then same like a rock star. People might worship rock stars. But it's then seeing those aspects and then owning them parts of you yourself.
Okay.
It's same on the other side.
You know what's interesting about what you said? So one thing, if you, and this is just so cool to know, if we ever get jealous of someone and they have something or they're living a life, that jealousy is just a translation that you have that ability to do that same exact thing in your own way, but you're denying yourself to do it. And that's why we feel the feeling of jealousy, because they're mirroring back to us that this is in us too, but there's a part of us who's not allowing ourselves to do that thing. And that comes through the vibration of jealousy. So
okay, that makes complete sense.
Yeah. So it's cool then to know now, instead of looking at your jealousy of someone like, oh, they got promoted and I'm feeling some type of way. Oh, that means I can do it too. Yes, in your own individual way. And it's not going to look how that other person, but there's something that person is mirroring back to you that you're not letting yourself do. And that's why it doesn't feel good.
It can almost become a full-time job. When you go out into like bars and you see a person doing that, you're like, shit, I'm going to have to, oh my God, all the work that I do myself.
Yeah. But join the club of deciding to be a warrior in this lifetime. It means you got to do a lot of work on yourself.
A lot of work, a lot of healing. When you come to using animals, how do you I assume they come in your dreams, they come to you through physically. How do you actually see or be able to read what they're saying?
So it all depends, but I think you could simply look up like on the internet, what's the spirit animal of fox mean and what's totem, and it'll tell you all this stuff. But if you actually go and watch a documentary on that animal, you will learn about different behaviors. And if you want to put it in a way of what is the metaphor of that behavior teaching me in my life right now? So sometimes there's those blanketed statements of what this animal means. And like a lot of it is, yeah, that is a representation. But if you want to go on your own journey, and like Eastern dragon is really different from Western dragon, and they're almost the light and shadow of the same exact thing. They're all about force, power, and abundance. So the Western dragon, if you study its lore and the stories about it, there's always this story where the Western dragon hoarding the golden coins, fighting the hero, stealing the maiden, right? It's about this abundance of hoarding, and it's all for me. And then we could look at Eastern dragon, which is benevolent, which is about helping everyone in their abundance, which is auspicious and joyous. And you want dragon on your team. In the I Ching, the Chinese Book of Changes, one of the oldest divination oracles that I think we had records of teaches like this, that dragon loves to work with people who are coming from the heart. Okay. Totally different from Western dragon, but that shows us that same flip side. It's the same side of a coin. They're both about this abundance, but what does abundance look when it turns into narcissism? And what does abundance look like when it's turned into for you and everyone, right? So it's just going on your own deep research and just watching documentaries or reading about it, and you'll get clues to like, because when I hear people talk about dragon, ever hear them talk about the duality of the Eastern and the Western. And that's because I studied dragon and I'm hearing, and not to say that's not obviously out there, but it's because I'm understanding it through my own research and then seeing that reflected back.
Yeah, it's like, for me, dragon's all about fire, burning away, transforming, but there's almost a level as well, being able to push the fire into the ground to heal the planet's gridwork. And I think it is something that's come also through a healer I work with, and she was saying the more people that start to use dragon energy to do things like that, the more you're going to heal the earth in a big, profound way. But it's also through doing these different things of being able to bring like red crystals. I think it's agate crystals. So then shoving anything that no longer aligns with me, like past lives, anything like that, into the crystal and burning it away.
Okay, so see, what's awesome about what you just said is that dragon is teaching you, like you're connecting to dragon to teach that, right? And dragon will come to each of us and teach us in its own way how it wants to be perceived and understood. So it's that, like what you just said, I'm like, exactly, that's the medicine dragon speaking and asking you to share with people. And some people are going to get other information, but that's the medicine that dragon works through with you, which is so cool because and then who you share it with and who aligns with it is actually your tribe, your audience, where dragon is speaking to all those people because that's the medicine that are going to be so empowering for those people that you speak to. So yeah, it's awesome.
It's quite cool because what I'm realizing as well, I can dance when I enjoy doing a Saturday dance and sober raves, and it's that using fire in the hands and my light and flames moving around. And the other day I went to this event, and usually I keep my top on, but this one occasion it says take your top off. And I was like, for fuck's sake, no, don't do that, because I felt judged. But was it other people judging me, or was it myself judging me?
Or was you?
So I did it, and then allowed me to be able to, okay, now let's work with that judgment. And when I shifted that judgment, suddenly I was in my power.
I love that. And the movement and the fire and just allowing yourself to be with that. You didn't try to escape it or shove it down. You like moved with it. And then you had fire there with you. That is so cool. That is transmutation.
That's good. Could I be cheeky? Would you be able to do like a reading?
Sure. Okay, let's do it for... Let me give this an intention. Okay. So you and anyone listening, I want you to think of like the thing in your heart you are just like, oh my God, it would just be such a blessing to self-actualize this, to have this come into fruition. It would be such a gift from the creator. It would just be amazing. Hold that vision. Just hold that vision. Hold that vision. Keep holding that vision. Pulling a few cards. Hold it in your mind's eye. Okay. Let's see what we got. Amazing. All right. So first we start with little sea otter, surrender to receive. Okay. So this is about co-creation with life, that there's an aspect of you that feels like you need to know, you need to control, you need to be in charge of how this is happening. You need to have structure and dedication, and you need to know exactly what you're supposed to be doing to make this thing happen. Where it says, yeah, there's an aspect of taking action, but there's a bigger thing where life is a part of making this happen, and being okay with not knowing, and being okay in the unknown, being okay, like having no expectations, but just the knowing that it's going to happen. And the sea otter has its stomach open to the sky, which is if we look at most animals in the animal kingdom, having an open stomach is very vulnerable. Like a dog, if a dog doesn't trust you, it's not going to be like, here, rub my stomach. there's something about the sea otter's position, which is this openness and vulnerability. It allows the sun, the creator, to just bask in this openness while shark could be lurking or whatever is lurking beneath. But there's this trust. So we're being asked to understand that there is something right now co-creating and making this thing happen. And you're not supposed to freaking know how it's going down. That this is interesting. So we have dream bigger, a bigger dream wants you, and I am bigger than this. Sometimes cards tell me different things at different times. The message that I'm getting right now, it's not that it's a different dream. It's that you need to, the thing in your heart that you want to see, I need you to blow it up. I need you to see it 10 scale, whatever that thing is. That is what this is asking you to envision it. Why are all you get it there? It's like, it wants to be here. So that is what you're being asked to hold and see your dream. See it at 20 steps further. See it even, what would that look like 10 years down the road? If this thing happens in the next few months for you, what would that shift into in 3 years? Just go there. Go even bigger. And also, you're bigger than this means whatever BS you're dealing with right now, you're bigger than it. Don't put, and your dream, you need to see it small. You need to be bigger than your dream. Okay, this chick, she wanted to create this universe. So she creates the universe within inside herself, and then she's able to materialize it and stand on it. But she created it in her, which means she's bigger than it. So when we put the thing on a pedestal, oh, it'll mean I'll be that thing, and then it means I'm good enough, and then I mean whatever our traumas, right? Because there is an aspect of every one of us who has a dream that a part of us wants that dream to happen to heal some childhood ridiculous belief about ourselves, which is all a part of, and it's not bad, it's not good, it's not bad, but like it is a thing. But we need to take that dream and we need to see it as small as a grain of sand and see ourselves so monumental and so big that it no longer seems like this thing outside of us unattainable, but just a little bleep on your timeline. Yeah, that's definitely going to happen. So while at the same time, we want to see that dream bigger, but that means we have to become bigger to contain that. Okay, better than you can imagine. I love this. So there is, right now it says we're in the gestation of making this thing happen. It's not like fully ready to give birth yet, but it is in the process. And that dragonfly shares about, okay, it's underwater, 3 to 7 years, depending on the species, as this nymph creature. And you can't explain to, not like we can talk to dragonfly with the words, but it would be like, oh, are you excited to fly one day? It has no perception of air, so how would it know what flying is? So this tells me that this thing that everyone listening has held the vision of, that is the thing I want to manifest, is that it is going to be even better, and that your current consciousness cannot even fathom what that frequency feels like, because it's so expansive, it's so liberating. And the wings reflecting rainbows, a lot of times we'll see this iridescence in a dragonfly wing, and you'll see like a rainbow. That's not because their wings are rainbows. It's because the light reflecting on their wings creates rainbows. So this shares with me that there's something that is you getting divinely inspired and sharing that reflection to others while having this freedom doing it. Because when we see animals that fly, that always means some kind of liberation and freedom. So this liberation and freedom to share your gift, and it's divinely inspired because we get the service card. So whoever is listening is some kind of their medicine, like you all listening have some kind of light you're meant to share with humanity, that it's like bringing people from the darkness, the service dog, leading people who can't see. It's this idea of leading people into the light. But this thing you want to create, this thing you want to do is your medicine, and it's medicine for others. And it's a part of healing humanity. It's a part of changing the world and creating world peace. And I will say this forever. Everyone here right now who is on their growth path, you're here to change the world. You're here to create world peace. You're here to discover these gifts inside of yourself so you can share them with humanity, so you can activate other people's light. Because we're not doing this. We're not going to keep living in an insane world. That's why we are feeling, and that most people who are interested in even listening to this are also have something in them. The love they want to share is epic. The words they want to speak are epic. We're interested in upliftment, and that in itself is a part of changing humanity. And then these two things. So these coincide. So we have you are what you think. So pink flamingo starts off white. And after 3 years of eating pink red krill, it turns pink. So we are whatever we're ingesting. Think of that through what we're watching and how we speak and who we hang out with. We are becoming that. So we are what we think. And then we have here, I can change it with my thought. This says block. She is taking her power and she is transforming her block with her thoughts and turning it into diamonds. So the last advice is your thoughts are so powerful, and that you can actually take whatever negative things you're thinking right now, any fear, any worry, any doubt, and you have the power to change that at any moment. You are able to shift into any timeline at any second. If the thing didn't seem like it worked out and you blew it and you were rejected and all this horrible stuff, you can immediately shift into another timeline by the way that you think. So just really, one of our greatest powers is having power and taming our thoughts, of directing our thoughts instead of letting our thoughts destroy us and make us scared. So it's really important that we realize, what are we thinking? And then you decide to change the thought. You tell the thought how it's going to go down, not you telling, okay, I'm sorry, but so many of us have terrifying things. No, shut it down, get out of my face. This is how it is. So this is asking us to have this power over our, you know what? I'm sorry. My computer is plugged in. I need to, no, it's not. And it's about to, let me just plug in my
board, don't worry.
Hold on. I apologize so much. Let me make sure. Okay. Anyway, but that's the reading.
So yeah. Surrender. The first thing you said was surrender. That is a key thing. And you're right. Dogs will show their belly when they're comfortable to show their belly.
Yeah.
Because surrender comes in. It gets a bit of a bad rep because films. Okay, I surrender. I give up. Can you go a little bit more deeper into surrendering?
Yeah. And maybe this will apply to someone. Like, there is an aspect of my life that is so difficult right now, and there is no freaking proof. And I could live in that fear, and I could live in that uncertainty, and I could really just marry it and just be there in that and having my nervous system hijacked. And I just realized recently that I am just going to surrender and trust that everything is working out, and just everything is working out, and everything is working out. That is what I am surrendering to. I am not going, and most of this month, I surrendered to fear about this situation, and it really jacked me up. And I'm like, you know what? That's doing anything for me. So I am going to surrender to trusting that it's going to work out. And it takes practice. It takes consistency. Keep coming back to trust. Keep coming back to trust. Keep asking. People are like, how do you surrender? How do you trust? Me, I will ask life, help me trust, help me surrender, because it's difficult, right? Because we're all like, I don't know, or I gotta, but I'm taking the stance, I'm going to surrender to trust. And I know now, I am so in the knowing, oh, this is going to work out. And I can't wait to teach people about this experience and how nothing was showing up and everything was going wrong. and all of it wasn't working, and then it worked out. And I will be sharing that story soon once I see it all work out. But I'm just gonna surrender to trust, because if it's like we're creating our reality anyways, so why not join the light force field as opposed to like the terrifying other version of reality?
See, it's so easy to get caught up in negativity or anything on the external going on, anything to do with anxiousness, fear. It's so easy to get caught up. But to change that and to go the other way, it becomes, I suppose, it's almost inbred into us from an early age.
Yeah.
It's hard to get on the other side.
The other thing, too, that makes it seemingly more difficult is that when we start aligning with fear, it starts hijacking our nervous system. It hijacks our entire existence. So we're not only just fighting a thought now, our body's in resistance, our cortisol, our adrenaline, everything. So it's like, Jesus Christ, like not first it was the fear, and now my body doesn't feel safe. And then there's this other interesting thing that happens that I'm changing the meaning of, but I think some people could probably agree or feel this, but since we can change things, I'm going to change the meaning of it. I've noticed when I am in fear, people show up differently, relationships show up differently, and money shows up differently. And I'm like, this sucks. Like, why is when I am in fear, why I'm not allowed to be triggered? I'm not allowed to be scared without the outside world reflecting that back to me. So I realized, I must be putting up an energetic protection boundary. And that energetic protection boundary is actually pushing everything I want away from me. Inadvertently, it's pushing things away. But I'm like, this sucks. That reality sucks. Like, I'm not allowed to be scared, and it's going to affect my business. Like, give me a break. No one said life was fair. This life, there's a lot of horrific things happening, but I don't really want to live that life where just because I'm scared, I'm going to see that show up financially for me. I'm like, no. So then what I've currently realizing is, okay, so maybe me having this idea that I put up an energetic shield that is a protection boundary, pushing everything away because my body is in fear. What if I'm actually just resisting the fear, resisting that disempowerment? And because I am resisting myself, I'm actually resisting other things from coming in. So now I'm interested in this. Okay, so I'm not going to resist these feelings anymore. I'm not going to resist, because when I'm in resistance, everything else is in resistance toward me. So I'm changing the meaning so I can then work through allowing myself to feel and not be in resistance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, almost like, what does my fear need? And I've come to realize for me, most emotions, all they want is love.
Exactly. And I think we're going into a big reception phase I'm just looking for, and for your viewers, my second deck, it's still not out yet, but this is all about the body and working with the wisdom of the body, and that we can hold certain positions that embody what we're working on manifesting. But I think a lot of us are going into a massive flood of reception very soon. We're going to see it like coming in for us in the next few months, because all the work we've been doing for years and years, we're coming into a place of full self-acceptance. And that self-acceptance, accepting ourselves, is what's making us so magnetic to receive the love, to receive sharing our gifts, and actually having reciprocity. I think a lot of us, like, we put ourselves out there and then it was like silence. So there's this new level that the collective of people on their growth path, we're shifting into full freaking self-acceptance. And it is through that self-acceptance that a new flood of abundance is going to come for us with the desires we've had for years. And I'm talking about years. Think about there's been something for a very long time in each of us that we have been working towards and hoping and failing and getting rejected and all this stuff. Like, it's coming in. It's coming in very soon. Some, I think, will be very soon. Others will see it roll out in the next few months. But I also feel like 2026 is about the year of being seen, which goes back to because we're selves, because it's us seeing us, and that is you receiving yourself.
Yeah, I suppose there's almost a level of the self-acceptance and then turning it around and seeing you for who you are. And that seeing is almost, it's almost, you're seeing you internally, seeing you externally. But then as you see you, people see you.
Yes. Yeah. And I think one of the things that so many of us on this growth path, there seems to be this thread with all of us, and it has to do with our self-worth and our self-value. And that, I think, is what we're going to be connecting to, right? So, like, this person, she finally sees that she's filled with diamonds, and now she can share those diamonds with humanity. But I think there's going to be this massive, like, pieces of the puzzle coming together for most of us, where we're going to start honoring ourselves in the way that we have been chasing for our entire lives. So that's pretty cool.
What came to me then was here to share ourselves fully.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Almost as though we've had this shield put up for ourselves for centuries, but now it's got to a point where the shield is dropping completely. I'm almost like a robot with a person with a robotic skin, and the skin's dropping down, and it's almost like it's the inside's turned around to the outside. And so the inside's been seen.
Inside outside. It's the inside out world. And I love that.
So can we finish off? Can you tell us what is it that you do and how can people get in contact?
So I work with people to connect to their power to create the life they love. And I am very experimental. I have my membership. I am empowered membership program. I do personal readings. I do coaching with people. I'm the creator of these card decks, Animal Apothecary, which is out, sold internationally on Amazon if you want something easy. The body tech will be out probably 2026. More to come on that. But my website is Cara, Cara Elizabeth Speaks.com. That's my Instagram. That's my YouTube. I have a YouTube. I have a lot of free stuff and information I share. But my membership is really freaking cool because we really take our body and animals to this next level of manifestation. If you are interested in connecting to your turning on the technology in your body, because our body is the most sophisticated technology, it can unlock and activate DNA. We can manifest with it. We can transmute with it. And then I pulled the animals in, we embody the animals, and we take on those characteristics of certain animals and just do a lot of freaking cool things weekly in that group and challenges and workshops. And yeah, Cara Elizabeth Speak, website, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Cara Elizabeth Speaks.
So for the audience out there, I'm a member and I find the readings, I listen to them every week, the weekly readings. I find them very informative. And I try to do as many, I can't always be there on the actual day, but I try to do as many of the things, the workshops and the activations. And yeah, they're powerful, I find.
Yeah, it's like a self journey. It's just like a moment with you and getting into your power through these different modalities. So super cool. And thank you.
There's outside my bedroom window and downstairs in the conservatory, there's two massive spiders, huge spiders. And you can see, if they're that close to the window, you can see every minute detail of the spider. It's quite cool, actually.
Oh my gosh. Spiders teach us about being the architect of the frequency web. So whatever were our threads that we cast out, which is from our intentions, that they are the master manifestors of just, they cast out the frequency, right? Every thread holds the frequency and intention that, oh, the thing is going to come that is not only my home, but the food and the nourishment is going to come to me. They also teach us about not needing to chase, but just aligning and casting out our frequency web and just wait for all the abundance to come toward us and having that be our home too.
Thank you very much, Cara.
James, you're freaking awesome. Thank you so much. I love it.
Thanks for tuning in to Man, A Quest to Find Meaning. If today's conversation sparked something in you, take a moment to reflect, then take a step. Remember, real growth comes from action, not just insight. If you found value in this episode, share it with a friend, leave a review, or reach out and let me know what resonated. Your feedback helps shape the journey we're on together. For more conversations like this, make sure to subscribe and stay connected. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn for updates, tools, and upcoming guests. Remember, it's not about having the answers, it's about daring to look.